Hello, podcast listeners. We know podcasts are a great way to catch up on a program that you may have missed on KSJE, and it's provided as a free service of this radio station. But you know, KSJE is now listener-supported, and so while you enjoy this podcast, we hope that you'll also take some time to join KSJE. Become a member today. It's quite easy to do. Just go to our website at ksje.com/support and pick the level of support that best matches your budget. Thanks again for listening. Here's your podcast. 11 minutes past 8 o'clock. It is Thursday morning, the 26th day of March, 2026. Good morning, everybody. I'm Scott Michlin. Thank you for tuning in to KSJE today. 90.9 FM over the air right here in San Juan County, New Mexico. In Durango on the radio dial, we broadcast at 103.3 FM. And if you're listening to my voice from anywhere else on planet Earth, you've gone to our website to tune in. Streaming all the time there, ksje.com, or maybe you're listening through the KSJE radio app. It's great to have you all with us this morning live as we start our program. Also want to welcome our viewers who are watching me this morning. The video is streaming out live to the KSJE Facebook page and also to our YouTube channel. So it's great to have everybody on board with us this morning, because coming up, we're going to have a conversation with the San Juan County Partnership about a number of programs that they are doing in the community. Some of them with our students, 8th graders and more, talking about art as prevention and much, much more. And we'll also give you a little bit of a hint at what's coming up at the Creating Cultural Harmony Conference, which will be here next month. So stay tuned for that conversation. It begins in the next few moments right here on KSJE this morning. Later on this hour at 8:50 a.m., we'll be checking in and telling you what to expect at Pride in the Park this June. They are beginning the plans for the annual event, so stay tuned for that. We'll give you details today, 8:50 on KSJE. Then, of course, Mick Hess is going to take us roving with the arts. It is our weekday classical music program beginning next hour after the news at 9:06. A reminder to connect with us on other forms of social media. If that's your thing, you can find us on Instagram and Blue Sky and X, in addition to Facebook and YouTube. And if you're a podcast listener, we publish new podcasts almost each and every day. You can find them wherever you listen to podcasts. So subscribe, check it out, and maybe discover a new local program that you may have missed recently. Or you can have podcasts and our live stream and much, much more right in your pocket with the KSJE Radio app, available at the App Store and on Google Play. And here's another save the date for you, Saturday, May 2nd. It is the annual KSJE 0 Mile Fun Run. By sitting there listening to the radio right now, you are training for the 0 Mile Fun Run, so you can keep training and join us on May 2nd at 10:30 right here at San Juan College. Sign up today for $15 at ksje.com/funrun, or $20 on the day of the quote-unquote race. Hope to see you there. Outside our studios at San Juan College this morning, it is a sunny Thursday morning, 55 degrees at the moment. We're expecting more sunshine today, maybe a little breezy. 78 for a high in Farmington today, 49 overnight. Windier tomorrow in Farmington on Friday with a high of 77. We could see wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour. Partly cloudy Friday night with a low of 46. Cooler over the weekend. Saturday, partly sunny, 73. Partly sunny on Sunday, 76. And a little bit cooler weather next week. With, look at that, maybe a chance of some showers Tuesday night into Wednesday. So we'll see if that develops into anything. But stay tuned for updates on the forecast there. Back with my guest from the San Juan County Partnership right after this on KSJE. KSJE is supported by San Juan Regional Medical Center, your community hospital serving the Four Corners. With a 115-year history of improving the quality of life, health, and care of individuals and families throughout our region. When life happens, San Juan Regional Medical Center is here to serve everybody. Find out more at sanjuanregional.com.
Now back to Studio A and the award-winning Scott Michlin morning program on KSJE.
Back in the studio this morning with my guest from the San Juan County Partnership, as I mentioned. Julie Smith is back with us this morning. Good morning. Thank you for being here.
Good morning, Scott.
You have a new job that we should mention too. You are now the Development Director for the San Juan County Partnership, so congratulations.
Thank you.
That's exciting. And so you're still working, though, on some of these other programs that we'll be talking about this morning, and then maybe next time we see you, we'll talk more about development.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
So there you go. So let's start by talking about the REACH program. That's one of the ones that you're working on, right?
Yeah, that's correct. So with this new grant, we're under a new grant from SAMHSA, the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration. And under this new grant, we are working with Farmington Municipal Schools. We have an MOU with them to do instruction in 8th grade health classes. So we spend about 2 weeks in each semester in each middle school, and we talk about, for 1 week, vaping and tobacco and all of the things that it's doing in the body. That
Right.
is artist prevention, the picture we're seeing.
Yep, we're not showing that yet.
Oh, okay.
It's just right. It's teed up, ready to go.
Sorry.
So we're just seeing you.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's okay.
That's
But this is
okay.
when you tell me
So-
how young kids are that are starting to vape, that from your research, right? Which I always find amazing
Yeah,
and disturbing.
It's a little disturbing.
Because these are 8th graders, so they're about how old? What is that? Maybe 12, 13?
13, 14?
Yeah, something like that.
Somewhere in there.
Okay.
13. So yeah, by 8th grade, really, they've been exposed multiple times, more than we really want to talk about, because we know that even younger kids in our district, so this is not like elsewhere, this is students we know of in our district that are vaping and not so much using tobacco products now, because we've gotten that message out really well.
Good.
Like
Yay.
cigarettes are harmful.
Yeah. Good.
That message they're hearing pretty clearly, but vaping is different because they're not always aware that almost all vaping products contain nicotine. And this is the thing that we're really trying to make them aware of, so that they understand the risks that they take when they start vaping. They start vaping for the flavors. Let's not play around. Like that
Right.
is absolutely 100% the reason they start doing it. They think it's flavored air. And they don't understand, even those that are labeled, those cartridges that are labeled as not containing nicotine, which very few of those are even sold in our area. But those that are, about 75% of the time, they still contain nicotine, because we just don't have the regulations from the FDA to watch that labeling. Many products that are sold are not FDA approved, so that means that they have not been through that approval process, that vetting that the FDA does so well. So when people are buying it, especially kids that are buying it from somebody who's purchasing it legally, because we know kids can't purchase
Right.
vaping products. You have to be 21 years old or older to purchase those products. So they're obtaining them from somebody who's purchasing them legally. And
So that's a problem.
so that is a huge
Right,
problem.
sure.
So that's also part of what we do, not in the REACH program, because this is directly, directed towards our students, our kids in 8th grade in the middle schools here.
Gotcha.
But what we also do is parent campaigns or adult campaigns where we try to inform them of the fact that, providing these to our kiddos is, first of all, illegal.
Yeah.
And second of all, providing nicotine to a minor, especially somebody who is still under that development process, the brain's still developing, body's still developing, we're doing imminent harm. It's setting them up for the possibility of lifetime addiction, and I don't think people truly clue into that. There are studies that show that when people start at around that age, that adolescence, that they are 10 times more likely to develop a lifetime addiction to nicotine because of the development process in the brain right now. There's synaptic pruning and specialization going on in the brain right now in that age group. And if we don't introduce nicotine during that time, nicotine receptors are pruned away. And the brain just does not have as many nicotine receptors, even from like normal, I'd say normal, like exposure around somebody who's been vaping or smoking.
Right.
You can develop nicotine receptors in your brain just because of that limited exposure. But if you then try something like vaping and get a big dose of that nicotine, it sort of concretes those nicotine receptors in for a lifetime. So if we can get past this synaptic pruning stage of brain development for our adolescents, their chances of developing that lifelong addiction to nicotine drop dramatically. Even if they try it later in life, say 21 when they can legally purchase it, the chances of them developing an addiction to it are so much less because of that hardwiring in our brain that has already sort of stopped by that point. So that's why it's so important that we reach kiddos early, often,
Right.
and especially during this age, that 6th, 7th, 8th grade period is critical for them to understand that introducing nicotine into their bodies at this time can have lifelong repercussions.
Yeah.
So
Interesting. And so when you talk to the students, these 8th graders, about these dangers and some of these things, what's the reaction? Are they kind of receptive to that, or do you have a better message of how to get it through to them? Because it doesn't seem like they equate the same type of smoking addiction properties with vaping, and there seems to be still a lot of studies about vaping too. There are a lot of maybe that we don't know or that we do know, but it seems like it's more kid friendly, which it isn't, as you've been telling me too over these years.
Yeah, no, it's interesting because as an adult in my 50s, I don't speak their language. Right?
None of us do.
None of us do. So that is the interesting part, trying to figure out how to reach them using their own language, but not seeming like we're condescending. It's a fine balance. So we do the best we can. One thing we never do is use scare tactics. We just want to present them with information, provide them with all of the information that they need to make the best decision that they can with the information they have. And if they don't have the information, then they don't know, right? We don't know what we don't know. So at least getting in front of them, giving them that information, and trying to provide a basis for them to make good decisions is really the goal. So we
Nice.
spend a week talking about that, and then we also spend a week talking about cannabis. So with the New Mexico being an legal adult use state now, we are seeing a rise in cannabis use among our youth. So we want to also educate them about that, the dangers of early initiation of cannabis use, and the things that can do in your body, and again, possibly creating lifelong need to use that substance. So it's just a really important topic and timely with us being now adult use.
Sure. Well, and to be able to get into the schools, you said this grant program is a cooperation with Farmington Schools, that you have that MOU with them to come in and talk to their 8th graders about these types of things. That REACH program, I would assume, is used in other places around the country, and probably has some data behind it that shows some of the results that come from being able to talk to kids in this way?
Yeah, absolutely. The REACH program itself is a program out of Stanford School of Medicine. So it is an emergent evidence-based program. They're using it all over the country, and the data is coming in. So I'm not going to report any numbers just yet because they're working on getting some updates out. So I don't want to provide false information, but it is looking very promising to be an evidence-based program. And that's kind of the gold standard in prevention education, is when a program reaches that evidence-based. That means there's been enough evidence gathered and enough analysis done that it is absolutely shown to be effective. So this is an emerging evidence-based program. So we're looking forward to seeing some of that data, which we're helping to contribute to.
Yeah, great. Exactly. So very good. And that's really important. And again, the San Juan County Partnership has done this type of work for decades in our communities, and I think has a really great track record. You talked about kind of the alcohol and the smoking numbers that are going down, the smoking numbers at least that you mentioned. And so that's really a good track record, I think, to say, when we come in with programs and messages for students and schools, we see results, and that's great to know.
Yeah, absolutely. San Juan County Partnership has been around since the early 90s. I believe 1990 is when the partnership began. No, 1991, because
That we'll
I
talk
know
about
this,
later. Yeah.
because this is the 35th anniversary. This year is the 35th anniversary of San Juan County Partnership.
See?
So doing the math
There you
in
go.
the brain,
That's
that
it.
would be 91.
See, there you are. Congratulations. And
Thank you.
again, we celebrate that as well. So that's wonderful.
Yes.
And so with that being said, with this program, how long are you in the schools? How long are you talking to these students? Is it just a couple of days or is it more of a week program?
No, it's a full week of vaping and tobacco and then 4 days of cannabis. The last day of vaping and tobacco and cannabis are primarily the same. So we don't repeat that because usually we're in the schools 2 weeks in a row, or maybe just a little bit of separation. Like this past couple of weeks, we had a spring break in the middle of that. So Brittany Page, who is our community program specialist, is actually the one who's taking over this piece because I'm moving on to another role.
Right.
And so she was in Hermosa the week before spring break and is in Hermosa this week. So
Okay.
so we try not to duplicate, you know.
Sure.
So yeah, and then we have a whole week of so that's each semester. Health class in 8th grade is 1 semester long, so each semester we do that again.
Okay.
So
For a different group of 8th graders.
rinse and repeat.
I
Yes.
got it. So very good. And of course, I would guess that you would be interested, the partnership would be interested in working with other school districts too, if they wanted to invite you in for this type of program for their 8th graders as well. Right now, you're just with Farmington schools.
Absolutely. For 8th graders or even younger. Right now, this is a great fit in the health classes in Farmington Municipal Schools. This is the first year that they've brought health class back to 8th grade for a while. So it was just a really good fit at this time. But we can do this same curricula with as young as elementary school. I mean, there's an elementary school unit that we can do that the information is more age appropriate and graphics are more age appropriate for younger audience. So we can do this from kindergarten through high school.
Well,
really.
Right. And as you have told me in the past that some of your youth surveys show that there are younger kids in our schools, in our communities, local data, who are vaping, who have access to vapes. And so that those numbers don't lie.
Those numbers don't lie, and really it's more the anecdotal that we know of the younger, because we don't survey our youngest populations in schools, but we know anecdotally from kiddos being caught with vape devices in their backpacks or on their persons, or using vape devices in school as young as 1st grade.
Wow. I guess that's what I'm remembering is that anecdotal
Yes,
evidence, but it's still
anecdotal,
pretty
but
shocking.
Still, it's pretty shocking. I mean, that's a pretty reliable source.
Sure. Well, if you're caught with it in your backpack, I think it doesn't take a genius to figure out
No,
where
and
it
I
came
mean,
from or what's it doing there.
yeah, we know 1st graders are not purchasing.
Yeah.
So
True. Interesting. Okay. Well, it sounds like a really great program to get in there. And again, the timing is really important, as you talked about this brain development and some of the ways to try to avoid some of these really addictive properties, I guess, and taking hold in these developing brains. And so that's a really
Yes.
important part of this program as well.
Yes, it is. It's an important part. The timing is pretty critical. Making sure that before they move on to high school, that they have a really good, solid foundation of knowledge in what nicotine can do in their bodies.
Yeah, very true. Well, let's change gears just a little bit and talk about another program I know you're very a big part of, and that is the Arts as Prevention program. It's a partnership, I think, with the Boys and Girls Clubs, right, of Farmington?
Yes, it is. So Art as Prevention is my baby. I developed this program with Michelle Meyering, who is the CEO of the Farmington, or not just the Farmington, the Boys and Girls Clubs of San Juan County.
That's right.
At the time, it was just Farmington, but it just arrived from a conversation, and that's the best way to develop these programs. have a conversation, see a need, try to fill that need, and here we go. We've been doing this for 3 years now, and Artist Prevention focuses on a really specific protective factor. So in prevention, we talk about risks and protectives. So risk factors, protective factors. Risk factors we can't always do anything about, right? The environment that kids live in, things that they're encountering outside of our control. But protective factors, we can do something about that. So one of the strongest protective factors that help kids develop refusal skills is having an adult positive relationship in their life. And so that is the basis of Artist Prevention. So I take small groups, no more than 6 students at a time in the after-school program at the Boys and Girls Club of Farmington, and then we'll transition into summer and do a little bit different structured program. But for now, it's during the school year. It's usually 3 weeks long, 3 days a week, and I get them as soon as they get off the bus, and we go out to my little studio behind the Boys and Girls Club, and we get to make art, and we get to have informal conversations about their lives, about substances, about what they're seeing around them in the schools, and their experiences around substance use. And even if we don't have a lot of discussions about specific substances, just the fact that we're there, we're having these informal conversations, we're developing relationship and having that positive mentoring is the key. And so and for me as a ceramic artist, a potter, it is just bucket filling to be able to see kiddos develop their love of art as well, and to foster that creativity. So
exciting. And now I'm going to show these photos that you sent me with these kids showing off some of their creative energy and ideas, and the whole idea too. And I guess what started this too, I think I remember, is that the Boys and Girls Club had a kiln.
Yeah.
And so you're like, well, how do we use that? Why don't we put it to good use, right? And fire it up,
so
literally.
We were, Michelle and I were just visiting about another program that I was doing at the time, and I happened to notice that she had some art in her office, and I commented on it, and she's like, well, oh, that's my art, because she's an artist as well.
Right.
And I was like, oh, really? Well, I do ceramics. And so we got to discussing it, and she's like, well, we have this kiln in the back that I don't even know if it works. And I'm like, well, let's go check it out. So,
right.
So yeah, like I said, from a very informal conversation of just 2 colleagues, talking to each other, trying to get to know each other so that we can solidify a really good working relationship. Out of this came amazing program that I love.
Art as prevention. And look at the smiles on these kids' faces. I mean, that tells the story too, doesn't it?
It does.
It looks like they're working on I don't know what they're working on. Maybe you could tell me what they're working on.
In this picture, they're working on masks.
Okay.
This was around Halloween
Nice.
last fall.
Sure.
And they were making mask projects. So the ceramics that we're doing are mid-fire stoneware, so it's not like Play-Doh or air dry
they're
clay.
using actual.
It's actual ceramics. So I teach them the techniques that they have to use in order to actually make ceramics work, like scoring and slipping, and
Right.
it's a great picture. So they have to learn the proper techniques, they learn the proper terms for stuff, so that they start to develop that knowledge. And if they go on with it later in life, I'm not teaching them terms that they're not going to recognize later.
Yeah.
So so
Very
these
cool.
are pictures of them. These are gingerbread houses that they made at Christmas.
Sure.
This is a different set of kiddos.
Right.
So they were working on gingerbread houses, and I should have sent you the picture with them all lit up. I forgot about that
that's
one.
okay.
So
darn it. Okay.
we purchased.
That's cool.
Yeah,
right? So get them all done and fired and shiny and ready to display.
Yeah, and we put the battery-operated tea lights in
Yeah.
them, and it turned off the studio lights and lit them all up. It was super cool.
Very
they
cool.
had an amazing time making them, and they looked so good.
That's
done.
wonderful. There's another mask
There's
too,
another
right?
mask, yes.
Exactly. And so I guess learning too some of the techniques of painting and how it changes during the firing process. The
Yeah.
colors aren't always maybe what you leave it with, right? And it
was
kind of shifts a little bit in the process.
Yeah, glaze chemistry is so interesting because before it's fired, it doesn't always look like what it's going to look like once it's fired. Especially blues and greens, they start off like grays and purples. And they're like, "Are you sure, miss, that this is going to be blue when it's done?" I'm like, I promise it's going to be blue when it's done." And so the joy that I see on their faces when they see the finished product, and they're like, "Oh, it really is blue."
Right.
Like, yep, it's really blue.
And they learn a little bit about chemistry too in that little moment.
They do. And we talk about how the kiln works. I give them lessons on that, how heat work works inside the kiln. So
Right.
yeah.
Very cool. Well,
It is.
And again, you can tell from
can
the
tell.
smiles on the faces and your smile on your face how much you enjoy it and how much the kids enjoy it too, and getting an opportunity to, because I imagine a lot of kids have never done this type of craft work before or type of pottery work before.
Most kids haven't, but a lot of things that they learn or do, like using Play-Doh or using air dry clay, does transfer. So
Sure.
kiddos who've done a lot of that manipulation with a clay-like substance really do have an advantage when they come in, because they're like, "Oh, this kind of works like Play-Doh." I'm like, "Yeah, it does. It just doesn't dry like it or fire like it," So giving them that information, but building on some of the skills that they may already have from playing with Play-Doh and air dry clay or even slime.
Right? Who doesn't love that?
Who doesn't love slime?
Come on, that's true. Very cool. Well, that's a great program as well. That will
Yes,
continue
that will
at the
continue.
Boys and Girls Clubs. And
Yes.
thank you to you and to Michelle Meyering, who is also a very talented artist.
Yes.
And so it's great to see that being put to good use. Before we run out of time, there is another event that we want to talk about, which
Absolutely.
is coming up. Very exciting. The 22nd Creating Cultural Harmony Conference, put on by the San Juan County Partnership.
Yes. So here it is again, the Creating Cultural Harmony Conference. It kind of snuck up on us. Our theme this year is Art as a Reflection of Culture.
Speaking of art,
Speaking of art,
Yeah,
right?
right.
I wonder.
where'd that idea come from? But that's a great segue and a great transition about art is everywhere.
It is. And so I'm just going to read you what the poster says. It might be
Yeah.
a little bit hard to see on screen. And for those on the radio, you
bet.
won't be able to see it. So our theme this year, Art as a Reflection of Culture, focuses on how art and culture influence our lives. Our vision is to embrace the similarities and differences, to emphasize positive interactions, understanding, and compassion within our community. Weaving together theory, practice, and embodied creative encounters, we aim to deepen participants' cultural competence and inspire cultural responsive approaches within community, clinical, educational, and prevention settings by offering space for cultural rootedness in artistic expression and offering tools for professionals to integrate culturally informed creativity in their practice. So,
Nice.
kind
Yeah.
of a long-winded way
Full day of stuff.
of saying art in all of its forms has such an impact on our lives. And we look at, like, even just looking around the studio here, we've got this beautiful rug hanging on the wall. We've got art all around us. San Juan College has amazing curated art
True.
all throughout the college. And it's not just paintings. When we say art, we really do encompass all arts, language arts, dance, music, of course, ceramic arts.
Yeah,
sort
sure.
of near and dear to my heart.
look at what-
Painting and
yeah.
all of the things that influence our culture and influence us to appreciate other cultures. So
Right.
that's really the emphasis of the day.
Nice. Well, and we're seeing more of that too. I think, with the city's commitment to the downtown art, the public art
Yes.
on Main Street in Farmington, other communities, the murals, the things that we just see. And again, here at San Juan College, again, walking through the hallways and seeing these beautiful works of art, what does that mean for students? It's not helping them maybe pass a test, but it's helping them feel more connected, maybe in a more positive atmosphere, and it does help them pass a test. And so all those things add up, I think, is what
They
I'm
do.
trying to say.
They do.
And
They
so this is a
really-
whole conference, a whole full day of how art is a reflection of culture. We're putting up the QR code on the screen right now, so I imagine
Yes.
that would take you to the registration page.
It will. It will take you to San Juan County Partnership's Creating Cultural Harmony page, where you can register. Right now, registration is only $75. That will last through April 12th. And then online registration will be turned off in order for us to prepare for the conference itself, which will be on April 17th.
That's a
at
Friday.
The Farmington, yes, a Friday at the Farmington Civic Center. Doors will open at 8 o'clock and will begin about 8:30. And we're going to be providing lunch. It is catered by the Chili Pot. And we will have snacks and drinks, all the
Yeah,
good things.
very good.
Lots of activities. And all of our sessions are aiming to be interactive. So there won't be a lot of just sitting and listening. There's going to be a lot of doing.
Okay.
So
Nice. All right.
just a little teaser about some of the things.
Yeah.
We've got Ballet Folclorico de Durango coming to do some dances and to teach about the history and cultural significance of certain dances and certain moves within dances. I'm really stoked to learn about that.
Yeah.
Drumming sounds. I'm hoping that he has enough drums for everybody to participate.
Oh.
We might have to share a little bit, but
Okay.
Learning about the culture of sound and how drumming circles can highlight how cultural and artistic practices can strengthen resilience, improve engagement, and just improve mood. So that'll be really interesting. And then a session on writing and how writing our stories can influence how people perceive our cultures and how we can engage people in our cultures by engaging them emotionally through our writing.
Nice.
And that will be hands-on too, so it's not just listening.
Very cool. Now, that's not everything. There's just a
That's
little
not
sample.
everything. That's
There's
just
more.
a little sample.
Okay.
Hey, and there's more.
Right, exactly. So if you go to the website, you can probably see more, and more will be added to it as we get closer to the
Yes, we have
conference as
not
well.
finalized the schedule yet.
Okay.
We still have a couple of slots in flux.
Yeah.
So
As those come out of flux, you'll be able to
Yes.
put them on the website.
yes,
So-
when you register, you will be put on the mailing list for updates for the conference. And as soon as we have that schedule 100% solidified,
Nice.
we'll email out those details to everyone.
Okay.
And
But
I'm
right
sure
now-
we'll post it.
Got it.
Yeah.
But right now it's $75.
It's $75.
And-
It will be $100 the day of the conference. So,
So
if you
don't wait.
wait,
Yeah.
you'll have to pay an extra $25. So
That's true. There you
get
go.
in on the early bird pricing and register now.
Okay. And again, the QR code is on the screen. Radio listeners, if you are not able to watch, you can just go to the website, sjcpartnership.org. And I imagine there's a lot of directions to find the Creating Cultural Harmony conference page from the homepage of the
Under our
partnership.
events, there's a tab for Creating Cultural Harmony, and that will take you right to the registration spot.
There you go. Very good. Looking forward to it. Thank you, Julie, for coming in. Congratulations again on your new job with the San Juan County Partnership. And thanks for all the work you do with kids in the community and the future work that you'll be doing on development. Good to see you.
Thank you, Scott. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Thanks for coming in. That's Julie Smith from the San Juan County Partnership, my guest this morning here on KSJE. Did you enjoy that podcast? We hope that you did. And if you did, share it with your friends. And if you really want to keep podcasts like this coming, please support KSJE. You can do it easily online at ksje.com.